The following program is brought to you by Cloudcast Media, a podcast leader in developing shows to elevate local brands, local stories, and local storytellers. Cloudcast, bringing ears and minds home.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and it is nice to have in the studio with us our friends from the Downtown San Diego Lions Club. We got Todd Kaprielian. He is the president of the club, joined by Jose Cruz, first vice president. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because it is the same Jose Cruz that has been the venerable CEO of the San Diego Council on Literacy for years. So, Todd, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Absolutely, and Jose, it's always good to have you on the air.
Thank you. Thanks, Drew.
You bet. Todd, how long have you been with the club?
Downtown Lions Club coming on 12 years.
12 years, okay. And this is your volunteer job, correct?
This is my do-good job in the community.
This
Absolutely.
is your do-good job in the community, and you're the Chief Development Officer for another wonderful organization, St. Paul's Senior Services. They have a good partner of the San Diego Union Tribune, so thank you for your support on that
You're welcome.
aspect
Thank
as
you.
well. Well, what's the mission of the club?
Downtown Lions Club, we are here to serve. We are a collection of individuals from the community coming together to do good and provide for those people in need.
Is it a focus on a certain group? Is it low income? Is it veterans? Is it youth? Is it all over the board?
All of the above, exactly. So we are serving young people, veterans, the elderly, really across the board. We had our roots in the deaf and blind communities. So we have a long history there supporting them,
right.
Here in San Diego, but also internationally. But we've also expanded our mission to include youth, veterans, seniors, things like that.
Right. Now, the club's been around for 98 years, correct?
Yeah, we're coming up on 100 years.
Yeah. You got some things planned in a couple years?
It's still in the works,
right,
yes,
right.
But so it's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. And Jose, how long have you been involved with Lions Club?
Since 2012, and so things have moved really quickly. And it's been a lot of fun just watching a little bit of the evolution of the club, because we have a lot of interest in just making that 100th year a big bang thing,
right.
and then doing more. And I know we're going to talk about this to bring in membership so that we have more folks who are part of the work that we're doing.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you, Jose. So, so the revenues that come in from the downtown, San Diego Lions Club focused on more membership? Is it sponsorship? Is it services you provide? Is it all of the above?
It really is services more than anything else. Membership is a way to generate revenue and involvement.
Right.
But, we're really about investing our resources and our people, power, and energy in the central San Diego area, and just doing what we can to enhance quality of life for people who need it the most.
Right. So, Todd, are there Lions clubs throughout San Diego County? Is there a North County Lions Club, a South County, or how does that work?
Yes, there are clubs all over. I think there's about 50 in San Diego County.
Is 50 Lions clubs?
Yeah, quite
oh,
a
my
few.
Goodness.
Quite a few. So some are very large. Ours is the largest in San Diego County, but you'll have some that have 10 members. They're relatively modest, but you do have them all over.
So, and of course, the Lions Club has been venerable in this country for many, many years as well. Is the 98 years how long you folks have been here in San Diego, or countrywide?
Exactly. The Lions Club International had their 100th anniversary a couple years ago.
Right.
So ours is coming up where we were founded in 1922.
Right. That's pretty exciting on this. And you have a strong board, obviously. Do you meet once a month, once a week? How does that work?
So we have weekly meetings.
Weekly meetings.
Weekly meetings. Those are our lunch meetings. Those are on Tuesdays. We have one a month that's also a dinner instead of the lunch. But then we also have our committees, and we do have 3 board of directors that are overseeing different parts of the club. It's a pretty extensive club. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, and how many members do you have?
We have about 110 members.
110, and the goal is to grow that as big as you can get, I imagine?
Exactly. It's all about people like you and I coming together, rolling up our sleeves to do work in the community, and we're receiving grant requests, so we need people to go out and do site visits.
Okay.
We have college scholarships, so we're going to have applications. We need to review those. We have camp scholarships for the summer, so we need people to be boots on the ground helping out and really at a grassroots level. So how does that happen? People join the club, and then they're welcome to join any committee and eventually become one of the board members.
Right. We are chatting with Todd Kaprielian. He is the president of the Downtown San Diego Lions Club, joined by his colleague Jose Cruz, first vice president of the Downtown Club itself on this. And, Jose, you've been in the community for many, many years, as to giving back immensely. I'm sure you're the chair of the Lions Club's Literacy Committee. If not, you should be, of course.
We've had some of that.
Yeah. I'm sure you've had a ton of that. But you get the money from the memberships. Do you get money from grants? Do you get money from sponsors? Do you get money from national? How does that work?
Probably not so much. I mean, most of the grant money that we're putting out there is generated by interest based upon the wisdom of our founders.
Right.
So they saved a lot of money, and so we're able to do what we do in terms of providing grants to nonprofit organizations because of that.
Yeah, Todd?
Yeah, through our history, it's been wonderful. People have put Lions Club in their estate plans.
Oh, okay.
So we'll receive these $50,000 gifts, these $75,000 gifts, and that has gone into our endowment. We're up to $5 million.
Congratulations.
$5 million, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. I mean, that's how, how it works. So now all the proceeds that come from that help us with operations, but primarily we're able to do charitable giving in the community. We just did a $400,000 gift to the Shiley Eye Clinic. And so that's the biobank. You'll see Lions Club Biobank. And,
sure.
So we did that 3-4 years ago. But we're able to do even more modest-sized gifts for $2,500, $5,000, $10,000. And that's all because people have made contributions to Lions Club, in which they can still do that. If they put us in their estate plan, we receive those funds. If they want to restrict it for something, we could talk to them about it. But that helps us do more work in the community. So we're kind of like a way that if people want to have a fund that helps on a grassroots level by people who are administering it on a grassroots level. Our administrative costs are really low because we have such a strong volunteer base.
Right.
The Lions Club, it's a great option.
Right. Was Joe Schloss a member of this? Does that ring a bell? And the reason why I'm saying that, Rick Schloss's dad, Joe Schloss, passed away, several years ago. But Joe was a venerable coach of Little Leagues for 60-plus years. Rick is a PR maven in town. I thought I presented at one of the Lions Club's meetings downtown once with Joe. They own, and he's passed it on to one of his other sons, Sporting Good. Does that ring a bell?
No,
not for me, Jose.
Yeah, but just the baseball connection, because we do have a tournament that we put on every year, which we're really proud of, and so maybe Joe may have been part of that given his engagement with Little League. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, and that one's been going on for how many years?
This is our 70th one.
Right.
It'll be this April, April 6th. The week starting April 6th will be the baseball tournament. So this is high school varsity baseball teams all over the country. I think we might even have one or two coming from Canada to make it international, but at the very least from all over the country, and they come and compete, and it is just grassroots baseball, people playing for the love of it.
Oh, yeah, it's been going on for a while. We talk about it all the time on our Prep Sports Show. Excuse me. And the judge who's definitely involved in it, a good friend of mine, has been the tournament director for years. And he does a spectacular job. He's also a very big fan of music, Jose.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay.
he is.
You can sit down with Pete. Yeah.
He goes to the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Fest every year as well over here. So hopefully he's listening as well. And he's been doing this for quite a while. We always, showcase this because it's in the spring every year, correct?
Correct. Yeah. April 6th, the week week of.
No, that's terrific. So with the Lions Club, are you trying to focus on, I know a lot of service groups like this, Lions Club, Rotary, whatever the case may be, really want to laser beam on getting some of the youth involved. Do you have a youth movement, a youth strategy?
We're starting to talk about bringing in more young people, but that's definitely the next wave of the future. Young people tend to volunteer in a different way. Ours is a membership-driven model, but they tend to not necessarily want membership. So we're having to think about how do we reach out to them and have something that'll be attractive to their values and their interests.
And we want them to know that this is, like I say, your grandfather, not your grandfather's Lions Club.
Right.
That this is, it's not just about lunch meetings and long timers and such. We really are interested in evolving into an organization that has people from diverse backgrounds, especially the young people, with the idea of being engaged in the community, being hands-on and volunteering. Maybe things that are, it's not just the money, but money is really helpful, but that we are about quality of life and service, that's our mission, and that this is a way for them to be involved. We're not just sitting down having lunch every week. It's more than that.
Well, and I think, and all groups sort of struggle with this, and all the nonprofits that, Jose, you touch, and I'm sure you do too, as well, Todd, is, this misnomer that we want to control everything as old folks and all that business. It's quite the contrary. I said, well, no, we want the young breath in there, new ideas, new ways of accessing folks, whether it's through Twitter or other social media in that aspect, and really unlock some of the footprints those folks have. So hopefully that's a nice strategy that you folks are taking a look at.
Yeah, absolutely. It's providing a little bit of structure that keeps the mechanics of the club, the institution, I'll say, moving along, but also being very flexible.
Right. When we come back from break, I want to talk a little bit more about how our listeners can get engaged. Obviously, sign up, become a member, donate, and all that business. And, I want to talk a little bit about the geography of it. So I didn't realize there were that many Lions clubs in San Diego County, 50 you were mentioning. So if somebody's in Fallbrook, should they first focus on the Fallbrook Lions clubs? Obviously, it makes sense versus then what you folks are doing. And then maybe a little talk about what do you see in the future. Obviously, you got your 100th anniversary coming up in 2022, but where do you see Lions clubs and service clubs like this in general going 10 years from now in that aspect? When we return with Todd Kaprielian, he is the president of Downtown San Diego Lions Club, joined by his first vice president, Jose Cruz. I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune. You listen to the Community Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio. We are brought to you by Retirement Strategies Group. Retirement made simple, folks.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180. We're here today with the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. Welcome to Deacon Jim Vargas.
Thank you, Charles. Good to be with you.
We have 3 minutes. Let's hit it fast and furiously. We're going to talk this morning with you about San Diego being a very expensive city, which creates a housing crisis, which is exacerbating the homeless crisis in San Diego. Let's talk about your leadership on this issue.
Sure, absolutely. We do have an affordable housing crisis here in San Diego. In fact, if you ask about the number one issue why people fall into homelessness, it's lack of affordability. And so they fall onto the streets, especially when rents go up, and rents are very expensive here. So we at Father Joe's Villages focus tremendously on housing. In fact, about 40% of our intervention is placing individuals into permanent and affordable housing. All right, so shows you the extent of what we do. And of course, there's services that go along with this, because in order for people to retain their housing, their dwellings, they have to have the services that they're necessary, whether it's mental health services or substance use disorder services, whatever that is. We have a Turning the Key initiative, whereby we'll be introducing 2,000 affordable housing units into the community during the next number of years. In fact, we just closed on a deal to purchase and refurbish a motel in the South Bay area. It's going to add 83 permanent supportive housing units. Next week, we'll be closing financially on a groundbreaking that will have 14-story building, 407 units of housing as well, taking about 550 people off the street. So housing is extremely important.
Which means you're investing a lot of capital How are you finding that capital to solve the housing crisis in San Diego for homeless folks?
90 to 95% of our funding is public funding, various sources, whether it be from the state, it be local, county, city, municipality. So most of it is public funding. There's tax credits that are involved there. The capital stack is quite large, actually.
So you're finding the land, you're finding the capital, you're changing lives. How are you minimizing the risk of future homelessness for these clients of yours? We're
minimizing it through our services. We need to make sure that in order for them to retain the housing, that they receive the services that they need that are holistic and are comprehensive to their specific needs.
That's fantastic. Deacon Jim, in the last 10 years, your organization has taken 11,000 folks from homelessness to a home. So I congratulate you. Any closing thoughts for our audience?